In a small village nestled in the mountains lived a little girl named Taidy. She was an 8-year-old with big, bright eyes that loved to gaze at the sky and a heart full of curiosity and questions about everything. Why can clouds change shape? Why does the wind have no color? She often laughed at her own questions every day. It would be so much fun if clouds could talk. While Taidy was playing under a large tree, the slow thump, thump sound of a walking stick echoed. An old woman with white hair and a strange smile approached her. Old woman, little one, you seem to have a heart full of fire. Taidy, huh? How did you know, Grandma? Old woman, I know, because your eyes shine brighter than gold. I offer you a gift. The old woman reached into her tattered cloth pocket and pulled out a golden seed. It shimmered as if alive. Old woman, this is the seed of desire. If you plant it with a heart that longs for something most, this seed will grant you that. Taidy stared at the seed, her eyes unblinking. Images began to flash in her mind, the endless bread and the gleaming golden chest in her dreams. Early in the morning, the first rays of sunlight pierced through the treetops. Taidy carefully dug a small hole in the middle of the backyard garden and excitedly placed the golden seed in it. The gentle sound of dripping water filled the air as she watered it. Taidy said, "Grow quickly, my magical seed. I can't wait to see you." A few days later, the tiny seed grew into a wondrous tree. Its leaves shimmered like golden flames in the morning sun. Every breath of the wind made the tree glow as if alive. Taidy said, "Wow, you're so beautiful. Is this really a golden tree?" She reached out and gently touched it, hearing a soft whisper in her head. "Water it with your wishes, and your desires will grow." That night, the old woman's voice in her dream sounded again. "Eat only one fruit, for the fruit of lust will reward you with whatever you ask." But Taidy didn't listen. Seeing the gleaming golden fruit before her, she ate one, and another, until the golden light in her eyes began to shine brighter. "Taidy, one isn't enough. It tastes like a dream." Her heart beat faster. A gentle, swirling wind sounded, and the atmosphere began to change strangely. But she didn't know that the tree of lust was beginning to devour her heart little by little. The wind faded like the last breath before silence. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the window into Taidy's room. She accidentally touched the wooden table, and instantly it transformed into shimmering gold. She was startled, but then burst into excited laughter. Everything she touched, the walls, the dolls, the books, turned into gold. Taidy, "Wow, amazing! I really do have golden magic." The room shimmered with gold, as if the whole world was smiling at her. But she didn't know that it was a smile without a heart. Before her laughter could even fade, Taidy's mother walked in, reaching out to touch her daughter's shoulder with warmth. Taidy turned to grasp her mother's hand, overjoyed. A metallic clang, clunk, was followed by silence. She froze. Her mother's hand was stiff, cold, and rapidly turning gold. Taidy, "Mommy, no, don't leave me." Her voice trembled. The once beautiful golden light was now blinding and so cold it was almost impossible to breathe. In a room once filled with laughter, now only the sobs of a little girl remain. Taidy clutches the golden statue of her mother tightly. Tears fall onto the cold floor. "Mommy, I don't want gold anymore. Just let me hug you one more time, that's all." Her sobs echo in the lifeless golden room. And that was the first time she understood. A gift born from greed can become an unbreakable curse. One night, Taidy fled into the forest. She walked deeper and deeper into the thick darkness, where she could barely see the end. Only the gentle breeze and the rustling of leaves could be heard, like a whisper. "Am I really alone now?" Every step she took was filled with fear and confusion. But in the silence, a voice broke the silence. That voice belonged to no one else but to her own shadow. The shadow moved, even though her body remained still. "Shadow, you have everything, yet why are you still crying?" Taidy, "Because what I have I cannot embrace. It is cold and lifeless." Taidy's voice was as faint as the last breath of hope. A shadow laughed in the darkness. The sound echoed through the forest like a voice from the depths of the underworld. "You thought your desires would fill your heart, but in truth, it was a deep abyss that could never be filled." Taidy looked down into the shadow. She saw another version of herself, a girl full of gold, but devoid of life in her eyes. I don't want to be like that anymore." And that was the first time she began to hear the voice of her own heart. A voice that wasn't desire, but true feeling. The wind calmed, as if the world was listening to her. As the sun's rays touched the horizon, Taidy stepped into the city of wealth. Here, everything sparkled dazzlingly. Golden houses, silver streets, and people dressed like performers at a nightclub. The air was filled with boisterous music and fake laughter. Taidy, "Wow, this city is beautiful." But beneath the beauty, something felt strange. No one was smiling genuinely at anyone. In the heart of the city, a long banquet table stretched as far as the eye could see. Food piled high, overflowing plates, meat, gold, desserts, and sweets oozing everywhere. The city dwellers laughed loudly. "In this city, no one is hungry, because we've eaten until there's no room left in our hearts." Taidy whispered, "But what about warmth?" Her voice faded into the harsh, metallic laughter. Taidy walked past people so obese they could barely move. Their eyes were lifeless, like geckos breathing on their own. She saw a woman laugh, stuffing food into her mouth incessantly. But in the tears streaming from the corners of her eyes, a shadow of emptiness lurked. "Taidy, if we eat to forget loneliness, it only makes us lonelier, doesn't it?" In this city of greed, she began to understand that true happiness is never served on a golden table, but comes from a heart that knows contentment. Heavy rain and thunder roared. Taidy fled from the city of greed amidst the storm. Tears mingled with the raindrops, indistinguishable from each other. Her cries were drowned out by the raging storm. "Taidy, why? Why does everything hurt so much?" But a voice spoke from the rain, a voice she recognized well. An old woman, soft but powerful voice. "You must face the consequences of your desires to the fullest before you can be free." Around her, thousands of mirrors appeared. Each mirror reflected the image of Taidy, the once innocent little girl. But now, her body was covered in oozing gold, like molten metal. Is that me? The old woman, voices echoing from all directions. That is what you created with your own desires. She slowly reached out and touched a mirror, and the image within began to tremble as if about to explode. All the panes of glass shattered simultaneously. The melted gold shards flowed onto the floor, mixing with the rainwater to form a golden puddle. Taidy collapsed, sobbing in the middle of the room. Her tears turned into drops of pure light, gradually cleansing the gold from her body, leaving only her true self. Taidy, I'm sorry, the old woman. You are beginning to understand that the most beautiful thing is not what shines on the outside, but the warmth of a heart within. The rain gradually subsided, leaving only Taidy's breathing, and on that thundering night, she found the truth, a truth that no longer needed any gold to envelop her. The sound of silent sobs, the warm light beginning to return. Taidy knelt on the damp ground, tears streaming down her cheeks. But this time, they weren't tears of fear. They were tears of acceptance. Taidy, I don't want gold. I don't want candy. I don't want anything anymore. I just want to hug my mother one more time. She spoke, placing her hand on the ground, where the seeds of her desires had once been buried. Suddenly, the ground began to glow. Golden seeds underground burst forth, releasing a warm, soft white light. They surged upwards around her like petals of light. Her mother's voice echoed softly in the wind. My child, when your heart is content, the seeds of desire will become seeds of wisdom. Taidy closed her eyes, listening to the voice with the most peaceful heart she had ever felt. A small tree sprouted before her. Its leaves were no longer golden, but a clear, mirror-like light reflecting the sky. Taidy reached out and gently touched it. Her heart warmed, like hugging her mother again. Taidy, I will care for it with a contented heart. And in that dawn, the seed of desire became a seed of the heart, bringing new life to the world and letting Taidy know that true happiness requires nothing more. The birds chirped softly and the wind rustled, the leaves smiling at her. The first rays of sunlight streamed through the wooden window. Taidy opened her eyes and found herself in the same house. Everything was the same. The rooster crowing, the smell of freshly baked bread, and her mother's embrace. Taidy, Mom, I'm back! Her mother smiled gently before holding her in her arms. Warm, and she knew this was what she had been searching for all along. When she went outside, the golden tree was gone, leaving only a small tree with ordinary green fruit. Yet it glowed softly, as if alive. Taidy walked over, gently plucked a piece of fruit, and offered half to her mother. Taidy said, Mom, try this. Her mother took a bite, and a smile spread across her face. It tasted the sweetest thing she had ever tasted. The sound of breathing faded away. This story teaches us that if you are greedy, you will regret it later. If you are gluttonous, you will be scorned. Because boundless desire does not bring us more, but it makes us lose the most valuable thing. That is, the heart of sufficiency.